Good Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Lauren Lemanchek. Developing right now in downtown Minneapolis, one person is dead and 3 others are hurt after a shooting inside a bar. It happened just before midnight near South 4th Street and 4th Avenue South, right by the federal courthouse and a few blocks from U.S. Bank Stadium. Investigators say a fight inside the bar escalated into shots being fired. A 21-year-old man died from his injuries. 3 other people, a man and 2 women, were hurt and taken to the hospital. Police said they arrested 1 man for obstruction, but have not made any arrests connected to the shooting itself. New this morning, a 12-year-old boy has died after a bike crash in Sartell. According to an email sent to the staff at Ridgewater College, Rog Hofshrestha died from injuries he suffered in that crash. The boy's father works at the college. We reported the bike crash Monday. Investigators say the 7th grader was wearing a helmet but was severely injured after crashing. Breaking news out of Robbinsdale as another shakeup hits the area's school board. In the last few hours, we learned Director Kim Holmes resigned. She's now the 2nd board member to step down. Holmes says the decision came after the school board dissolved a temporary safety and security committee. She also cited an unknown act of intimidation as another reason for leaving. Happening today, former FBI Director James Comey is being arraigned. He's charged with making false statements to Congress and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. The Justice Department alleges he lied to lawmakers about whether he authorized an FBI media leak. Critics say the charges are revenge for Comey's investigation into Trump's 2016 campaign. That investigation involves allegations of the campaign's ties to the Russian government. Taking a look now from our nation's capital this morning as the government shutdown enters its 2nd week. Right now, there are growing delays at airports, bringing the everyday effects into focus. This is video from late night last night from O'Hare in Chicago, where worker shortages led to ground delays for hundreds of passengers. Democrats insist there will be no deal to reopen the government unless Republicans negotiate over health care needs. And they have a surprising new ally from the right. All as President Trump is floating the idea of not giving furloughed federal workers back pay when the government reopens. Here's NBC's Alice Barr with the latest.
Good morning. The decisions made here in Washington can feel far away from a lot of Americans' daily lives, but this shutdown is changing that quickly as consequences ripple across the country. More than a week into the federal government shutdown, real-world impacts are beginning to take hold, like this Georgia farmers market losing access to a now paused program that doubled SNAP food benefits for low-income families who rely on it.
Stretch their budgets to get more vegetables into their kids' diet.
While across the country, travelers starting to see delays pile up at a growing number of major airports because of staffing shortages. Air traffic controllers, already in short supply, have to work without pay in a shutdown, and some are calling out sick amid shutdown stress.
We've got houses, mortgages, car payments. They have to put food on the table. They're concerned they might not get a paycheck.
And while the controllers union is adamant there is no organized sick out.
Absolutely not.
A TSA local union president in Atlanta acknowledges some TSA agents had to work other jobs during the last extended shutdown.
Some of them did elect to do like Uber, DoorDash. Federal employees are feeling like pawns right now.
Hundreds of thousands more federal workers are home on furlough. And now President Trump is suggesting they might not receive back pay, despite a federal law that mandates it.
For the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way.
Democrats vowing to fight that move while holding firm that health care provisions have to be part of a deal to reopen the government. Outspoken conservative Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene now agreeing, saying that without extended Obamacare subsidies, her adult children's insurance premiums will double. Federal law enforcement officers and 2 million members of the military are also now working without pay. And the Speaker of the House suggested he's open to trying to come up with emergency pay, at least for the troops. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
Well, the impacts are not being felt yet at Minneapolis International Airport, despite air traffic controllers working without a paycheck. Paul Jackson's a retired airline pilot. He says your safety is not at risk, even if there are fewer air traffic controllers working.
The services are still there to get them in. They may be greatly curtailed. It is not uncommon for air traffic control facilities to be shuttered. It happens every night at many airports. Minneapolis stays open 24/7, but Flying Cloud over in Eden Prairie closes at 10 or 11 o'clock, depending on the season. And it reverts back to an uncontrolled airport, and the airspace is then owned by the approach controllers.
The last government shutdown in 2019 went on for 35 days, and air traffic controllers played a key role in President Trump ending it. News reports at the time say major disruptions at airports tipped the scales. All eyes are on Chicago this morning as we wait for the National Guard to deploy into the city. Right now, those troops are just outside the city training. And some reports are saying the troops could begin their assignments as early as today. Michelle Beck's at the live desk with what she's learning.
Well, overnight, President Trump declared this: make Chicago safe again. That appears to be in tandem with the FBI director making a trip out of Illinois and the Texas governor saying the guardsmen from his state are now there too, on the ground and ready to go. While all that played out in his state yesterday, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, was actually in Minneapolis for a pre-planned event. He sat down with Governor Walz, who too said he's preparing for the possibility of troops deploying to Minnesota. That training in a Chicago suburb right now is all part of President Trump's efforts to deploy federalized National Guard troops to certain Democratic-led cities. Governor Pritzker is trying to fight this in court. A judge is set to hear Illinois' argument tomorrow.
So they sent all these folks, the ICE and CBP, and now National Guard, without talking to me at all. They have not picked up the phone and called me, not once.
So this is not normal, and this is not to set up something that's peripheral to this. If it's about, helping us out on, an event that comes up, helping us out on crime or whatever it might be, none of this is it. Not coordinating with the governors, no, we do not hear from them.
And here's the latest out of Portland, Oregon, where we're seeing similar tensions over the National Guard deployment. A Trump administration request will come before an appeals court tomorrow. It's about a judge's order from over the weekend to block troops from going to Portland. Back to you.
Well, more than 100 school board members from around the state have signed a letter urging state officials to comply with federal law, which they say calls for blocking transgender students from participating in sports. The letter comes just days after the U.S. Department of Education said Minnesota is violating Title IX with its current policy on participation. Officials say the state has until Friday to change its policy or risk losing federal funding. While they have opposing views, those on both sides say it's about student safety.
Bathrooms is one issue, but then it goes so much further. It's so much further. It's locker rooms, it's sports, it's, again, how do we protect all children? Because our policies right now don't.
There's nothing safe about discriminating against a group of vulnerable students. It actually makes all kids less safe, because then every kid has to worry, am I next?
A spokesperson with the Minnesota Department of Education says they're reviewing the letter, and the department remains, quote, committed to ensuring every child has the opportunity to thrive in a safe and supportive school community. A big embezzlement investigation underway this morning. Newly released court records show the treasurer of the Isanti County Sheriff's Foundation, Kimberly Nordenstrom, allegedly created fake bank accounts and then brought in $100,000 in grant money. The complaint says she used that money to pay off her debts and buy farming equipment.
For this person to do what she did, I'm beside myself.
In my 31 years as the Isanti County attorney, I don't recall thefts in this large an amount.
Nordenstrom is facing 2 charges of felony theft. The city of Anoka's social district is now open year-round. The Anoka City Council just voted to expand the program, so that means you're now free to sip and stroll throughout the year. The only exception is the social district won't be open for Anoka's annual Halloween parades in October. The cities of Shakopee and Stillwater have also since launched their own social districts. Stick with us. We've got more news and weather coming up after the break.